To all my black entrepreneurs, we gotta do better, y'all. So tune in to the Entrepreneurians Podcast, where we help build better black businesses.
Hey. Welcome to the Entrepreneurians Podcast, the after show with me, your girl, Tiffany Nicole, and Lash Trace.
What up? I thought you forgot who we were for a second.
I forgot everything. You know why? Because I got a rant to go on. That's why. And it just all jumbled in my head. And I'm trying to get everything out. And it's time right now we got.
So this after show episode is a recap of the Chantell Williams episode.
They know. They just watched that last episode yesterday.
Her book, The Day My Dad Became a Superhero. And tell them, go ahead and do your rant.
Okay.
Rant on.
I have a rant. So
I might join you in this rant.
You should. Because as you guys know, this is a children's book. And there are illustrations. So Chantell is the author, and she had to hire a couple of illustrators. And she said that the illustrators wouldn't allow her to be involved in the illustrations.
Not as involved as she wanted to be. Which struck a nerve with you.
Serious nerve.
Because as a published author yourself, you understand that an author should have I should say 100% of the creative rights as anybody else that's involved in writing a book.
Yes.
Illustrator, editor, whoever.
Now, I will say this. So when you publish a book and if you're going the mainstream route, your editor may give you suggestions, say, hey, change this, change this, change this, change this. Okay, cool. But to tell me that I can't, you just want me to give you my book and you just draw whatever you want to draw? What? Excuse me?
Yeah, exactly. I should give you my ideas, you bring them to life, and then I go behind you and say yay or nay to what you created.
Yay or nay to whatever I want to say.
And
yay
I
or nay
should be able to say as much nay as I want.
Exactly. So she would have just gave him the book, just all the words and stuff, and be like, okay, here's my book. And the illustrator never met her, and she come back, and it's a representation of her and her family, and the book come back, and the kids are white. What?
And nobody understands the way the illustration should be better than she should.
Yes, and she does.
Right. Because if she gives this illustrator all the information, as descriptive as she can possibly be with how these characters should look.
Yes.
The illustrator is still going to draw up in their mind their own version of what these ideas bring to life. Right?
It should be at least collaborative. Yeah. At the very least, it should be collaborative. It should not be, I give you my book and you draw something.
No.
And you shouldn't get an attitude when I say, nah, I don't think I like that.
No.
It shouldn't be that way.
No.
So that really struck a nerve with me because being a published author, the creative process is near and dear to you. And like she said, this book was her baby. This book, and I completely get it. And for someone to come in and say, well, I'm going to draw what I want to draw, and if I want her headband to be red, it's going to be red, not green. No, bro.
No, to the no.
I said I wanted it to be green, so it needs to be green.
Facts.
Like, I'm not telling you, I want stick figures instead of that. I'm telling you particular things about this little girl and this family that I want in my book. There should be no argument about that at all.
And if you're an illustrator and I'm saying green, and you don't have or use the color green, then I need to move on.
And she did that. Remember, she had 2 illustrators. And
then she ran into the issue of, and I could see this happening. You have one illustrator who you work with for, let's say, 6 months, and you come up with what as close to what you wanted as possible. And then things don't work out, but you were satisfied with the illustrations. You go to the next illustrator, and this illustrator cannot make his art look like the last person's.
No.
Number one, they don't want to.
Yep.
Number two, they most likely can't make it. They can't duplicate it. So it's tough because now you're stuck between, damn, I should have either found a better solution or a better way to work with this first illustrator so that I didn't have to worry about losing that art. Or I have to be open-minded and say, I have to be willing to allow my illustrations to change if my illustrator changes.
Yep. And she said that.
That's
She
just
said
inevitable.
the first illustrator that she had ran into some issues, so she couldn't use them anymore. But she fell in love with the little girl.
Right.
Whatever the depiction that he did of a little girl, that's what she had in her mind. And then she had to move on. And it's like you're stuck in this place. Like, But that was my rant, y'all, because that touched my heart, my heart.
So that was the that was the first segment when she talked about her book.
That was later on, but she talked about the illustration throughout the whole.
You're right.
Throughout all the segments, but yeah, but, that's just my rant from the week because that really bothered me.
And what was her ninja business?
Oh yeah, we worked on that. We talked about it and we worked through it, but she would not answer emails and DMs about purchasing items,
right.
Because it became overwhelming for her, and I get it. It does become a lot, but she was custom making stuff. Like she would get her clothing line and alter it for herself. People would see it and want that exact thing.
Right.
But she didn't offer that. She did that stuff herself.
Right.
So she found herself altering these clothes and customizing these clothes, and it became too much.
Right.
And I get it.
Yeah, they were very simple solutions to the ninja business that she participated in.
Very simple. Communication. That's it. Communication.
Tips, tricks, and resources. What did she drop on us?
She talked about finding a good editor.
You got a good memory.
I really do. I just, that's what I do.
You watch the Entrepreneur Williams podcast?
I do.
You do?
Faithfully.
Check you out.
I know, right? And you should too. That's my little message.
So she told us about editors, you said?
Yeah, she found a really good editor and a publisher for her book, and it's a black-owned company. And that was the process. She said that was the process that worked best for her.
Okay.
Was the editor and the publisher? It was more streamlined because the illustrator, of course, we already talked about that. We ain't gonna do that again. But yeah, that was a good part for her. And then she talked about just this book being a representation of her, and she wanted to do it so her son can see it and other little black kids can see it. Yeah. And also fathers. Because you always get a lot of things about moms, but fathers are important too. So I'm glad this book is called The Day My Dad Became a Superhero.
That's right. Yeah. So we can drop, did we already put that in the show notes? The resources that she dropped.
Yep. And we have the link. We actually have her email for you guys to actually purchase the book. So please do so.
Yeah.
Support black business. Patronize black
business. We should put it up on our bookshelf here.
I know, our bookshelf.
We got all these records.
I know.
We're going to replace these records with a few
books.
other things. We got several things we're going to put up here.
Yes. But new set again, but we like it.
Y'all going to see it.
Yes, y'all going to see it.
Book club.
She talked about her book.
She talked about her book.
Yeah.
Which is, if I'm an author and I come on a podcast like this and they have a book segment,
I'm talking about my book.
I'm talking about my book.
As you should.
Yeah. So buy her book, The Day My Dad Became a Superhero. It's a children's book. The illustrations are crazy.
They are good. It's just the complications she went through to get it done.
Yes.
But they are good.
Who knows
I will say that.
Who knows what the illustrations look like beforehand? But right now they look great.
They look good.
They look great. I like the different shades of black people.
Yeah, that's important too.
You got some extra chocolate ones and some light chocolate ones. So yeah, it's nice. It's dope, and it's a quick, easy read.
Yep.
For your kids. So thick books can be intimidating.
Yes.
Anybody, a 5-year-old will look at that like, oh, I can read that. They probably think it's a coloring book.
Yeah, exactly. Not even read it. They'll be able to look at the illustrations and kind of follow along, looking at the pictures. Because the pictures do tell a story.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's it for me. I'm done. That's my rant.
Coloring book.
To go along with this, she should.
Yeah.
You heard that, Chantell? Make a coloring book to go along with this.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. That's a real good idea.
Yep. Oh, you know what else she could do?
What?
So not only could they fill in the color, they can fill in the story. Leave the pages where the story is blank and let the kids write their own story to the pictures
about the day their dad became a superhero.
Yeah.
We want some creative rights. I'm gonna be like illustrator. We need creative rights to that part of this, please. Thank you. We want parts, Shan.
Just need to say the Entrepreneuvians somewhere.
Somewhere.
The day my dad became an Entrepreneuvian.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
But yeah, that would be dope if this was if she had another version that was a coloring book. Basically the same thing, but just the illustrations are not colored in.
Yep.
That way the kids can color it in and they can write the story to this picture that they see.
Yep. That'd be dope.
We need parts, Shane.
Need parts. And I think that's a good way to wrap up this after show.
I think so too.
We need parts, but it's okay. Hey, I have to say it again just in case you ain't hear us the first time. But thanks for watching, guys. That's the after show with talking about Miss Chantell and her week with us, and we really enjoyed her.
Yeah.
All right,
Chantell
guys.
Williams, published author, The Day My Dad Became a Superhero. She also I said author with it.
It's okay.
She also has a clothing line called I Am Me. I am authentically me. So check it out.
Check it out.
Chantell Williams. And we out, y'all. Entrepreneur Williams Podcast.